Did you know that you can use eyelets to make your paper beads look nice and neat? Perhaps you did, but did you know you can also use these metal parts to make your finished paper beads look so cute and so interesting? Hi everyone, it's Dragana from Saacibo. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. In the previous video, I've shown you these paper beads that I've done with my plaid papers, and I've added eyelets on either end. And in that video, I asked if you'd like a tutorial on this. And a lot of you said yes, please do a paper bead tutorial. So I am doing it today. But before we start with the tutorial, I just want to take a minute to thank you all for helping me reach 30,000 subscribers. Yay! Thank you so much. I'm very happy, and I'm so grateful to all of you for all your support, for watching my channel, and for leaving me those beautiful comments. Anyway, thank you so much. And like always, whenever I'm celebrating a milestone, I'll give a little freebie for all of you. And today it's going to be this 4-page freebie with little images that we are going to use to create paper beads with eyelets on either end. Okay, so we're going to use that, and later on in the video we will look at what other papers we can use apart from the printables, and I'll share with you some ideas on how to create texture, for example, like that. So first of all, you will need some eyelets. I have 5mm eyelets here, and they work really well because they're not too big and they're not too small. Now, eyelets come in different sizes. These are probably too big. Usually the 4 or 5mm or even 6 or 7 is all right, depending on how big you want the bead to be. While we are at the subject of eyelets, I might have mentioned in one of the earlier videos that a while ago I dropped a box with these metal parts and it all got mixed up. I've scooped them all and put in this container, and I only took the eyelets out, at least I tried to, but the rest is all mixed up, and honestly I don't have time to sort them out, and I wouldn't even know what goes with what. And I thought I'll just leave it and I'll find a way to use them. And I did, and I really loved the result. I've been using these ones also to end the beads. I love the look here as well. And even some of these parts that usually don't have a hole, such as these, you can use them like for the end, but you can also make a hole. They're quite, you know, they're not a strong or thick metal part. You can easily punch a hole there and use it like I've done here to have these kind of end bits, and I really love the look. So I'll show you how to do them as well. The freebie is going to be on my website. Please go to the free download section and you can print it on either A4 or letter size. I made it slightly smaller so that it would fit to either format. I'm just going to cut one of each. You can cut this with scissors as well, I suppose, but I find that this is actually easier for me anyway. I used just a thin copy paper, 80 GSM. You can also print on thick paper, and in that case your strips won't have to be this long for the purpose of adding an eyelet, of course. Let's start with this one. I'll just cut that bit off. My eyelets are 5mm, so I needed something to wrap the paper around. And I find that regular straws work just fine. It even fits the eyelets. So I've been using just a plastic straw to wrap my bead around. Okay. And sometimes they can be a little bit soft. What you can do is just cut it in half. Use one of these to put inside. Just squish it a little bit. push it inside, it will just make it a little bit stronger. Okay. With these ones, I've been using the straw. And then I went through all the things I could find in home and in my studio that can be used for this purpose. And I found these. I was so happy. 5mm crochet hook, the wooden one. It came in a set of, I don't know how many, 10 or something. All have different markings. And they're perfect for this. I'm going to show you with both. So you will need something that is the same size as your eyelet. If you have 6mm eyelets, you will need maybe a thicker straw or 6mm crochet hook. Or if they're thinner, you will need something thinner. I have this, but that is too fine. However, it worked when I wanted to use these metal parts. Then you can use these ones. You know, the pokey tool we use for punching a hole, they're good because they have the end, and they worked for these tiny metal ones, so they leave a smaller opening. So just some ideas for the beads. You don't have to have special tools. I think this pencil is round, and if I was to make a really large bead to include that, I would use this pencil. Look, it fits perfectly. Even this little screwdriver. Now this, from the pen, it gives a nice opening, a smaller one for perhaps one of these. I found this in my husband's toolbox. I don't know what that is, just a piece of metal, a round one. Look at that, that came from some sort of calendar or something, also for a smaller opening. Then I have these. And these are actually used, I think, to install these eyelets, something like that. And they also have that opening. I'm thinking if that's probably a bit bigger, so for like 6 or even 7mm. I'm just giving you ideas here. I'll just do a test one. I start like this, just do this, just strain the paper a little bit like that, you see. And depending on the outer part of the eyelet, you will need more or less paper. I don't need this much, but I'm gonna do it anyway just to show you what I mean. So you hold it there like that and you keep rolling. Okay, so don't worry too much if it's not perfectly aligned. It never will be if you try too hard. You see how it's looking now. So I'm gonna take that out. I'm gonna push it gently while holding it. You can also do that. You can tap it in place. Okay, I'm not gonna glue it. I just want to test it. So I'm going to put that in. Okay, as you can see, I have a little bit of paper sticking out, and I would much rather if the eyelet was to cover the whole paper, so there's no white showing around here. And that's just so easily fixed. I just know I need to make this a little bit shorter. I left the printable along on purpose because some eyelets might have this larger around. I don't have them, but some I think do. But in my case, I think I need to cut about this much, something like that. So I'm going to make that a little bit shorter, which is about 18.5 centimeters or 7.25. Okay, let's see now if that's any better. If you would just roll a regular bead with a smaller opening, that would be all right. You wouldn't have to cut it. But if you decide to add eyelet there, I think it just fits much better if it's not too wide. Let's see now. And that's a lot better. Okay, so what I do now, I add the glue just on the end here. So just here. Nice amount of glue. I hold top and bottom and I just keep rolling like this. Okay. Nice. And there it is. And that fits perfectly. Okay. I won't be installing these yet because I like to finish my beads with varnish first. Okay, so let's roll some of these. So we already know now how much we need to cut, so I'm going to cut all at the same time. You see here I have that word there, and I can get away with just a straight cut and it would look fine. You can't really tell where they join. But when you have something like this, you can cut it, but the cut becomes really visible, and I prefer to just tear. Turn the printed part of the picture towards you and you tear away. And that way you'll end up with a thin and soft edge. And then when you wrap it around, it's actually going to be less visible and it will fall in place nicely. Okay, and here as well. Just like that. I'm going to use the straw again. And then rolling that nice and tight. And you put it down, you just press a little bit, don't press too hard, you'll squish the paper. You can tap it also. And then you take it apart and add the glue. And hold the top and bottom and just lightly roll. If you miss the spot with the glue, you can fix it, but I think it's pretty good. Okay. Let's do the mushroom one. I'm going to use this one now. It's the same thing. It gives the same results. It's just that it's a little bit easier to hold than this. But I just wanted to demonstrate. Okay, now if you're struggling with this and it keeps unraveling and giving you trouble, you can also, when you start, you can add the glue at the very start. Just train this, so you can add the glue here at the very beginning. Just like roll it up like that and then add a little bit of glue here. Just don't put the glue too close to your tool because you'll end up gluing it to the tool. Now if you do this, it's important then that at least the first little bit is really lined up perfectly, because once you add the glue you won't be able to, you know, move that. So that's like an extra security. You can do that. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Depends. When I'm dealing with a really thick paper with scraps or like cardstock, I like to add the glue at the beginning. But with these copy papers, I don't always. Okay. Now here I need to just cut a little bit more and add a little bit more glue. How pretty is that? I love that sunflower. All right, so now that we've rolled them, I like to add the varnish on top. It will just protect them and it will make them nice and shiny. Now I've been using this extra gloss varnish by Art Deco. You can use any acrylic varnish that you have. It can be gloss, it can be matte, satin, whatever you have or whatever you can find. And you will also need a brush, a container, and a piece of cellophane. I'm going to show you this trick if you don't want to get your hands messy. So just fold that in four and just cut a little bit here to create an opening, and then put this like that, and then grab your bead, put it back onto the straw and hold it like that, so it's not gonna get your hands messy. So I've learned that the hard way. I find that the glue is easier to wash off from your fingers and hands than the varnish. So you just get a little bit of varnish and then you just start painting just like that. You can also paint the top bit and the bottom, especially if you're not going to use the eyelets. It will just seal the edges, and if you haven't used the glue at the start, it will stop the bead from coming undone. And that is it. So you just put it somewhere like that to dry. When you make a lot of them at the same time, it's easier. You just first you roll them, then you varnish them, and it's done in no time. A bit on top, bottom. Give it a nice coating. And I might as well just put this one. You do want to separate them while they're drying. And I have this piece of styrofoam, so I'll just do that. I want to show you these. I've done these with just a nail polish. Okay, I have a few nail polishes. I have these ones that I really love, candy gloss. I don't use them on my nails, but I love using them on beads. Look at that. I'll just show you on one example. So many that I still need to varnish. Let's just, I'll just get this one. This one has that textured napkin paper wrapped around it. Now that's too small and not really easy to work with, so I'm just going to get this brush. So you just paint the bead with nail polish, and I really love the results of these. They do take a bit longer to dry, and they do have a strong smell while they're drying, but if you don't mind, it's really worth it. It's really worth it. And you can play with different colors. It doesn't have to be just one color. Okay. Do a little bit on top here. Should we add a different color? Oh, maybe this brush is alright. Just do a few drops. Just for the interest. That's probably enough. I have this one here that I've glued some thread around. This is a really thick one because I used a strip of scrapbooking paper. The strip was 12 inches and the paper was thick, so I ended up with a bigger bead. Should we go with the second color? What would look good here? I've got this green. We would just do a little bit. Like that. Oh, let's go with a little bit of purple. I can't resist. Can't resist that in purple. It's got several different colors. I like it. So let's leave that one to dry as well. So yes, you can use varnish or you can use nail polish, and you will have to clean the brush. If you didn't use the original brush, you will have to clean it, and this one washes in water, and that needs to be washed with a nail polish remover. To attach the eyelet to the paper bead, I've been using this glue because it works on metal. It's F6000. Okay, so what I do, I take the bead and I put the glue on the edge. Then I take this, put it in. So that's it. Nicely finished paper beads with eyelets. I use silver here, gold, rose gold and black, but they were all 5mm eyelets. I love these. Now I want to show you how to install, for example, these different metal parts, not the eyelets but these ones, the snap buttons. I've been rolling beads with different tools, not just this one. That's bigger than that one, and it would fit this big thing. Yeah, got two. I think that would be perfect for that one. It's a nice one with the nail polish. It's a bit more narrow, so it won't fit a regular eyelet. It might fit this one or that one. And the hole in here is really small, so what I like to do is just make it a little bit bigger. As you can see, it's really tiny. I think the jewelry wire wouldn't even fit through, so I've been doing this. I would take this pointy tool, put it there in the existing hole and just push, just to make it a little bit bigger. See the difference? Yeah. Okay, so now we can glue this. To leave it. Let's glue this one as well. I need to leave it till it dries. It takes a bit of time. Let's see what else. Oh, okay. I have this part, and I can leave that like that, or I can add this bit on top. The same way as I've done here. You can have them on both ends, but maybe I can show you on this example. Okay. Okay, I found them and they have no hole at all, so I'm going to just place that in the middle there and then just push, and it creates a hole. And then you can just glue that. If you're going to put it together into a dangle or a charm like this, you might be able to hold that in with the wire and whatever else you put, but I find that it sits better if I glue it first. Okay. Like so. And I just let it dry. Now I want to show you on one more example when we have these ones. See if that's good for that one. It is actually, and it doesn't have a hole, but you turn it this way and there is a room here, so you just push a little bit to see, but the hole looks much better if you push it from this end. Get something, get another one of these, for example, to hold it. Okay, to hold it like that, to stabilize it, and then you try to push it. Good. Where's that bead? So now we have a bead with an opening there. Love it. So what should we do for the top? We'll just do the same. Okay. It just helps me determine where the center is. That's a nice one. So you get the idea. Even if there's no hole, you just create one. I love these. Now let's have a look at different papers we can use for this. Now here the possibilities are really endless. And now that you know that what's on the paper, it doesn't really matter. As long as you have the very end interesting, because that's all that's going to be visible once you roll it up. So it can be scrap paper, white paper, book pages, whatever you can think of, whatever you have that's lying around. And if you want to make it interesting, just make sure you have something cool at the very end. And what you can do is you can actually stamp the end. Let's try on this example. Cut this fuzzy edge off. I have these tiny little stamps. Maybe I'll take this little flower. I'm going to just stamp it at the very end, like so. So I'm going to just quickly roll that up. Tap it down. Hold it. And there it is. I think that's just gorgeous. Gorgeous little flower on just regular paper that was dyed with coffee or whatever, and just a scrap piece of paper. And I've done a lot of them like this with stamping at the very end. Done these, but I actually stamped on the receipt paper. This is the top part of that one. Okay, and if you have a nice paper like that and you don't have much of it, you can basically just roll with any paper and then you glue that. I'll show you that technique. Let's say I only have a little bit of fancy paper like this and I don't want to use the whole thing because, you know, it's going to be wasted. I spent all this time painting it. I want to use it to make 3 beads, for example, instead of 1. So I would get any paper. Let's say I have this paper. So I would need it to be the same width. So just mark that. I'm going to cut that now. This. That. And then I'm going to take this and glue it around. So I'm going to apply the glue onto this paper here. It's just easier. Okay, place that. And there it is. Love it. Okay, so that's one way of adding interest. Then you can use music sheet, you can use just book pages. I have some examples here. Music, that is with a book page, and then I just wrapped some other paper, and that's with just printer paper. One of my cats was jumping on the printer and accidentally made it print a whole lot of code. Ended up with papers with lots of numbers, but I think they make a really cool beads. All right. Then this is that textured napkin paper. It was deli paper on one side and napkin on this with different inks and paints, whatever. We've done a video on that. I will link it down below. And I've used that paper and I just stamped these at the very end to create these little beads. I think they're really nice. Then have a look at this. These are just my test strips from when I'm making dies, and they are done on watercolor paper or drawing paper, really thick paper, and I've been using them the same way. With cardstock is a little bit harder, but you can do it. You just have to train the paper, especially at the start. But it can definitely be done with cardstock. Just takes a bit longer for the glue to set. Okay, and you can use any scrap, painty paper, jelly prints, whatever. You can also use these. I think if we were to cut that like that and just use this for the end, you will end up with a bead with a number, for example, like that. And then of course the magazine. Yeah, I think I've been collecting these magazine clippings just for the purpose of creating beads. I had this just, you know, something they give you at the supermarket, and I thought these wine bottles, the writing at the very end would make a really nice bead, wouldn't it? Also this with the books, if I cut it in a way that the book title is at the very end, I could have a really interesting bead. So let's try that. All right, I think these here would make interesting beads. So I'm going to just cut like this here, and then like this. For the wine lovers, why not? Oh gosh, I love it. Really interesting. Cool. With words, and let's do one with the books. I have so many books here. Oh, look at that one with a butterfly. I have to take that one. Here we go. You can also add postage stamps at the end, stickers, washi tape. Love that one. Yeah, look how many I can make. I just want to give you a few examples. I used like wider paper than narrow, and then washi tape at the very end. And here also I've used washi tape just on the very end. These are just book pages, you know, the white part of the book page, this part here. And then I stamped the images, and I really love the results there. Then here I've used wrapping paper. That was interesting. These are just some prints on book pages, or even cleanup papers on book pages. All right, now I just want to quickly show you how you can achieve texture like this. I've been creating texture with these texture plates, and I have these smaller ones that are actually perfect, and this is just packaging paper from like Amazon or whatever. And to create successful texture on your bead, the whole strip shouldn't be textured like this, because this creates a bit of a bulk here, and the layers of paper tend to fan out, and it's not really a stable bead. So it's best if you just put the texture at the very end, just like I've shown you here with this. So you do a bead with a paper, scrap paper, whatever, and then you add the texture part at the very end. Or emboss just the very end of your paper, like I've done here. Okay, so emboss just the very end. So just like that, the very end. Okay, and then what I like to do is at the end, I just tear a little bit like this. Okay. Tear it a bit, it just sits better. Roll it up, and there you have a bead with nice texture. And then you paint it, and I love to paint these with nail polish. Another way of achieving texture, in case you don't have the texture plates, is just with some fabric. Now on this one I've just glued a piece of lace around, and on this one I just added a little bit of this gauze or cheesecloth. Okay, and the one with the thread we painted together. Here it is, and it is dry now. That's what it looks like. And then when we add some of these, I think that would be a very nice bead indeed. Love it. Now I just quickly want to show you some examples of where I use these beads. I don't know if you remember my book of leaves from last year. I've decided to add these long beads to the spine. The one with poppy seed, with a woodpecker and a sunflower. I think they just work really well on this journal. This journal has elastic binding. It's so easy to put the elastic through, and I think it looks really nice. I love it. And one of the other beads, the textured one that I've turned into a dangle with added bits and pieces, I've decided to just attach here as a decoration. Another good thing is I can hide the knot inside one of these. And over here, just want to show you another way I like to use these ones with eyelets is for closures or for ribbons, for drawstring bags, because the opening is wide and I can thread ribbon and lace and fabric through it, and then it also allows me to hide the knot. All right, so I can just hide it and it looks really nice and neat. I've done the same here. I've used those ones from the freebie. It says Explore Love, and these are the ones from last week with the plaid papers. I think they work really well with this journal. And the ones that I've turned into dangles, I decided to add here to the closure. There's this one with the scrapbooking paper that I turned into a dangle, and there's this one with the napkin paper that I turned into a dangle. I just love them. I don't know. They just add so much to the journal. The journal looks more loved in a way. Let's have a look at this one. We've painted this one with nail polish, and I've turned it into a charm or a dangle. Added this butterfly, made a loop, and had these bead ends. I just love it here. I think it's the perfect color for that one, and I love the little dots. There's the one from the freebie, this one. I've also added other bits and pieces, a round glass bead and some bead ends. Used a bit of wire and turned it into a dangle, and I love the picture of those flowers there. It just looks so vintage, and it works beautifully on this journal. And over here I've decided to add some to the tabs. That's the one I've done with scrapbooking paper, just a piece that was left, turned it into a dangle and attached it here. Brown colors just work so well in this journal. And this one here is also done with the freebie, with a little bird, and added these bead ends and a bit of jewelry wire and turned it into a dangle. Now I'm going to show you some more examples. That's the one we've done with snap fastener. Then I've turned these two into earrings. They were done with that napkin paper and a stamped image. So cute. It will go well with this. I'm going to wear these earrings. Then over here we have that one that we've done with that book catalog. That was the book cover that we rolled into a paper bead, and I just love how it turned out. I really love these ones with the snap buttons because they almost look like a scroll thing, almost like a rolling pin. I don't know, I just love that look. Then I want to show you these ones here. This one has a sticker glued over, you know, one of those postage stickers. This one is made with receipt paper that I painted in one of the videos, and then I stamped the grass and added another receipt paper at the bottom. This one was done with just rusted paper. This is a napkin glued onto deli paper, one of those textured papers. Here we have one with napkin paper as well, and quite a lot added to it. This one here was done also with receipt paper and some extra bits. Love the black little shiny things there. This one is one of the textured ones. I've painted it with nail polish. Another one made with napkin paper and some gold details. Really love this one too. Another textured one, and this one here with the stamped image and just white paper, regular white paper. I love how these turned out. I still have all of these left that I want to turn into charms like that perhaps, although that is a lot of work. But I want to show you the one with gauze. I painted it with black nail polish and added silver wax on top, added these snap buttons, and I just love the texture on that one. Hope you can see. It's now I just want to go back and do more of them in different colors. Okay, this one was done with the lace, so I painted it with blue nail polish and added a bit of silver and gold wax. Love how that one turned out as well. And that's the one we painted together with just thread around and nail polish. Love it. Okay, I've decided to add these bits to the tops, so I still have to add other things to turn it into a charm, and added a little bit of gold wax over. Beautiful result. What else? Another one that I really like is this one with black nail polish and gold wax on top, and that was just with that textured paper. I love how it turned out, and I had to try this one. Great even for steampunk journal. It's another textured paper, painted in black nail polish and then added wax on top. That's a nice and grungy one. It's like great for a gothic theme, I think. Over here, I wanted to show you these ones. Just some of the papers that I scanned in and then printed small images to turn them into like Halloween style. These ones too, with bats. I love that. Where is it? There's that one with the cat and the pumpkin. Oh, it was a lot of fun drawing. And one with the spider. Maybe I should turn these into like Halloween style earrings. And the rest you've seen. I love these ones with a receipt paper, then these ones with the freebie. They was really good because there's two of them and I can add them to the drawstring bags or to closures. Love the ones with this stamp. Would be great for like sewing theme journal with, or even steampunk. And these ones look really nice. Would be perfect for a nature journal. Anyway, I hope this video was inspirational for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you soon in the next one. Bye for now.